Dance apocalyptic, bands that make her dance apocalyptic now, bands that make
Hey
her
guys,
dance
I'm
apocalyptic.
Kristen and I am a modest greenie. So, a modest greenie is someone who is green and going green and loves being green in all aspects of their life. But it also means that you're not boastful or bragful and you don't claim to be an expert. I am not an expert by any means, but I do my research and I make conscious decisions to do better, to be better, and to make better choices for my health and for the health of my family. So that's what being a modest greenie is all about. Let's see, why should you be a modest greenie? Well, number one is many of the top killers or causes of death in the United States are preventable, and they're linked to your food choices. The second reason is instead of trusting and putting all of your faith in the healthcare system and the government and doctors and hospitals and nurses, empower yourself to make choices and changes that can eliminate some of those ailments and illnesses that may come your way if you're making poor choices. Now, being modest is special because you are not a radical. You are being yourself, and it's a very freeing place. You feel free to do what's best for you. You feel empowered because you know what's best for you, and you feel convicted because when you know better, you must do better. And that goes for you, that goes for me, and it goes for anyone I know. I always challenge people to strive to do better and to make smarter choices. Now, being modest doesn't mean, being a modest greenie that is, doesn't mean that you have to be crazy. No, you're just taking things to another level. Doesn't mean you're getting on the elevator and you're going all the way to the penthouse. But you're taking it floor by floor, level by level, step by step. Things don't happen overnight, they happen over time. I know from my journey, I started as a young kid, before I even knew that it was happening to me. I had the cholesterol levels of an average adult when I was 7. Which is crazy. So, by the way, my parents decided to make some changes in our household with the types of foods we're eating by decreasing the amount of fried foods we're eating, especially fried chicken, and by decreasing the amount of frozen dinners that we were eating, increasing the amount of whole foods that we were eating, decreasing the amount of red meat. I did not eat beef or pork the majority of my life, and this is one of those times that caused that change. From that change and from those differences, by being conscious and making better choices, my health did improve. My cholesterol did improve. And I can account that to my parents making a change and making the decision to be better for me and for them, because they're still around today. Now, some other things that occurred in my journey, my grandparents were also very health conscious. They shopped at Whole Foods stores. When I was younger, Whole Foods did not exist. However, there were stores like Wild Oats and other health food stores that we would go to get grains and nuts and other things in bulk that are research-based and that have amazing benefits. So I had that influence. I also had the influence of my grandparents choosing to eat more whole foods. They were old school. So I would bring home junk food and try out different things, and they'd just, let me know, hey, if you don't stop, you're going to be in trouble later. Diabetes does run in my family, tends to skip generations. But now that I am, more knowledgeable, I also know that my choices can affect whether or not I get diabetes in my future. And that's empowering. I can make choices that can eliminate a health impairment from my life, from my future. So I'm going to do just that. My grandfather owned a Vitamix in his golden years. He still has the same one today. It still works. So being exposed to his juicing and blending and him being very healthy was good exposure. Was it forced on me? No. But did it influence me? Yes. Some other things that influenced my choices. I never was a big meat eater. And when I moved out and I was living on my own, I had my own apartment, I was cooking for myself. I was actually in a different city than my family, so I had no choice but to rely on my cooking or fast food, which I'm not big on fast food, so my cooking. I learned very quickly that I was not really into meat. And I realized that I had been eating it because I thought you had to. That's what we were supposed to do. And then I started to do my own research because I really was getting annoyed and bored with eating meat. At this time, I ate chicken, turkey, seafood, and that's about it for my meat consumption. So I made the decision to do research and to figure out alternative ways of consuming and getting protein and other things, and calcium and other things that meat claimed to be helpful in. Something else that's important to know is that I am lactose intolerant. I developed this intolerance when I was about 21. I was in college and I started to have really adverse effects to dairy. Basically, you did not want to be anywhere near me. And then it got to the point where the stomach cramps were so bad that I said, forget it. Who needs this? So once again, I was back to the drawing board doing research. How can I get the things that dairy claims to give me in that beautiful, tricky food pyramid that we were taught years and years and years and years and years in high school and in elementary school? Yeah, no, dairy is not a necessity. There are other ways to get calcium and to get protein and to get some of the same things that they, if not more, that they state that you can get from dairy products. So because of all of this, me having an intolerance to dairy, on top of me not being really into meat, I decided to try veganism for 2 weeks. It was very expensive and it was adventurous. I was adventurous. I tried things I had never tried before. I used to be a very picky eater on top of those two major things that we were trying to avoid. And so it was interesting, but it was also an amazing experience. I felt the best I had ever felt. I had less bloating, less gas. It was great. And so it really, prompted me to kind of continue some of those things that I had tried during those 2 weeks of veganism. Now, I continued not eating meat and being pretty strict about my dairy intake, including things that had dairy in them I would not consume. And I did that for about a year. After a year, I started to reintroduce fish and seafood, and because I actually do love fish and seafood. And so I consume those things maybe like once a week, not very often, not every day, but it is a nice alternative and something, especially when you're going out to eat. It is hard to find food when you're going out to eat on a menu. And that's something that I will make a video about later. But that was one of the hardest struggles, especially with my husband when we go out to eat. A lot of the places that we're going to, unless you want to eat a salad all the time, it's not fun. And then I can make a salad 10 times better than the salads that are on their menu. So it was kind of disheartening, and so I started to incorporate seafood, and it's like a special treat to me. It's an easy protein. It has omega-3s, omega-6s. It really helps with nutrition as well, but it's not something that I rely on daily. It is a special treat for me, and I enjoy it. In terms of being vegan, I am not vegan. I do not claim to be vegan. I am probably what you call a faux vegan. I am probably about 90% vegan. But with that, seafood and fish once a week, and also sometimes having things that may have dairy in them, like baked goods, because I haven't quite mastered vegan or gluten-free baking yet. And I love some of my grandmother's recipes that were staples in my family. So on occasion, I don't see that being an issue. It's nice to have a special treat every once in a while, but it's not the norm. It is the exception to the rule, which is why I'm about 90% vegan. And I try to make the least amount of exceptions as possible. But being realistic and having things in moderation is healthy. That's healthy. It's healthier than what I was before. So I'll take it. And I'm constantly striving, to be better, to do better. But I just don't see myself at this point being 100% under any specific title. Something that works for you. So thinking about, what do you like to eat? What things do you think you benefit from those foods? Not do you like to eat them because they taste delicious and they're yummy and they're a tradition in your family and you can't imagine your life without them. No. Why are you eating it? What can you gain from that food? Will it give you energy? Does it give you protein? Does it give you potassium? Does it give you natural sugars? What does it give you? What are the benefits of eating it? And if you cannot name 3 benefits, don't eat it. Especially if you can't name one. There's so many things out there, especially processed foods. Eliminating as many processed foods as you possibly can from your diet is one of the best things you can do for your health and for your adventure to becoming more green and being more green. So those are some things that I'll leave with you. One testimony that I think is imperative to share. When I first started my journey, I weighed 140 pounds. I'm 5'1", so that was overweight for me. I could feel the weight. I didn't look bad, but it didn't work for me. So when I made the changes that I made, I lost 20 pounds in less than a year in a healthy way. It was just through food choices. I solely focused on my food intake, and that's what happened. The following year, I focused on my fitness, and in conjunction with what I had already established with my food and my lifestyle choices when it comes to healthy eating. So I think it's important that you evolve to something and you know why you're doing the things that you're doing, and you're constantly researching and you're getting educated on what's best for you and why. Never believe everything you see or everything you hear. Research multiple sources, credible sources, and make a conscious decision. That's all you can do. Make an educated, conscious decision, and your body will thank you for it. You'll thank yourself for it later. So good luck, and stay tuned to Modest Greenie channel to learn more tips about what you can do to be better, do better, and to feel better.